The first key to success for entrepreneurs is the mindset. The reality is that chaos exists in the mind of the entrepreneur even more than it exists in the physical world. And so if we want to be successful, if we want to achieve that balanced growth in our business and life and achieve this freedom we want, we've got to get things right in our minds. And it's critical for entrepreneurs because in small business, there are so many things that are coming at us every day, especially in the early stages of a business, but it goes on and on. You know, there are constant signs of failure and shortcoming and not achieving the goals that we wanted. We get feedback that can be discouraging when we're working so hard to accomplish things. And let's face it, especially when you're trying to get your product into the market initially and when you're really trying to get that product market fit, there's just a lot of trial and error. So we've got to be resilient. We've got to have a mindset that just bounces back quickly. We've got to have a view of what we're up to and what we're doing that is unsinkable, that is, as I like to say, unflappable. Like you just cannot be knocked off guard. And so how do we do that? That's the whole point of getting our mindset right. Now, when I was young, my dad was a big positive mental attitude guy, and he talked all the time. In fact, he told me, hey, you should read this book. It was called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And he said, you should read this other book. It's called The Power of Positive Thinking. And as a teenager, I sort of was like, blah. I didn't want to hear it. I was like, what does dad know? Well, fast forward a few years and I'm running a business and wow, I'm being assaulted with negativity all the time. And the reality is that just comes with the territory in entrepreneurship. There's a reason why most people don't do entrepreneurship. And the reason is that the rejection, the failure, the stumbling, the pivoting, it's part of the job. If you are not used to that kind of setback and learning how to reframe those setbacks and look at them as fuel for your growth and the learnings, the lessons that you need to ultimately win, you're going to have a really hard time. And so the mindset is about how do we get our minds right? How do we cultivate this? What are the practical things we can do so that we are fixated on our goals, we know that we're going to achieve them despite any evidence to the contrary that we may face. And that's the big thing. It's ultimate goals, right? It's not necessarily, hey, I said we were going to do this by the end of this month or by the end of this quarter, we fell short. Now that spells doom. No, it's have the long-term view in mind, right? We need to have that long-term view in mind and know that we're going to be successful. When you go about your days in entrepreneurship, you're running your business, and by the way, this is absolutely true for your team members as well. This isn't just the entrepreneur, although it's critical for you as the business owner and leader that you get this right. How do we cultivate this? How do we actually work on it every day? Fundamentally, we've got to get to a place where we start off with the mindset that we will be successful. That is the most important decision that you can make. And yes, it's actually a decision that you will be successful. Decide. Now, the word decide, if you break down the linguistics of that word, the meaning of that word, it's to, what is side? Well, think about homicide and pesticide, it's to kill, right? So to decide is actually to kill off options, right? When you decide that you are going to be successful, you have put out all other options, right? You've decided you're going to be successful. Most of us don't treat our other decisions in life as killing off other options. We second guess, we go back to it. No, we decided, we're done with that. By the way, all success in decisions is what we do after that choice. It's not in, did we get it right? No, we make it right because we chose and then we move forward confidently in the direction of that decision. When you are running your business, decide to be successful. Okay, so it starts fundamentally with I will be successful. We will be successful. Even though we have these issues, we will be successful. Nothing can change that view. We will be successful. That's the beginning of the trick, my friends, of this mindset. It's not some Jedi mindset thing where we're trying to tell ourselves something we don't actually believe. No, it's we will be successful in this business. And we will do all the things necessary to make that so. So we start with that, and then we cultivate every day this mindset of success. In the book, I share 10 practical ways you can do this. We'll share that list with you here so you can see those 10 ways that you practically cultivate a mindset of success. Every one of these is golden. They all work beautifully. Any one of them on any given day you should be doing, but you really want to do multiple, as many of these as you can every day to cultivate a mindset of success. Now think about that term cultivate. We're actually growing, strengthening the muscle of our mind. We're strengthening our belief, we're strengthening our conviction, we're strengthening the confidence we have that this business will be successful. It's not up for debate. It's not out to the jury right now. It's not up for trial. We will be successful. And every day we are building that confidence. We're cultivating that muscle, that mindset of success. You can do that with these 10 tactics. Now, you can also do that by cultivating the emotional resiliency that you need. These tactics will help, of course. But if you think of your emotional bank account, what you're really doing with these cultivating tactics is you're adding to the bank account. And you are making sure that you've got a strong balance of emotional fortitude to win in your business every day. So don't go to bed with a weak emotional bank account. Cultivate it. Don't wake up with a weak emotional bank account. Cultivate it. Strengthen it. Before you get to work every day, you're building that emotional bank account. That emotional capital account is important, and here's why. You can do these 10 practices, but if they don't actually restore you emotionally and fire you up emotionally, then you're going through the motions. This is the secret. Emotion is what drives the outcomes. If we are excitedly, enthusiastically going about the work in our business, going about the personal work we're doing, we are much more successful. A long time ago, a very smart author named Neville Goddard wrote a book called The Feeling is the Secret. And what it teaches is a very true principle that when we build that feeling of positivity, of excitement, of enthusiasm around our business, we can't not be successful. So you stop and think about that. When your emotion starts to go downhill, the business will go downhill. When your emotion is excited and confident and upbeat, the business will follow. The feeling is the secret. And so building that emotional bank account with these 10 tactics, but constantly making sure that we're upgrading our emotion, that we're increasing the excitement around the business. Now, this doesn't mean you're running around like crazy, that you're, remember, frantic pace is part of the cause of chaos. So it doesn't necessarily mean that. What it means is there's confidence. It's a calm confidence. It's a knowing. It's a certainty. And you better believe that just oozes off of you. It attracts people to your products and services. It brings team members into a place of cooperating with you, coordinating with you, and creating with you. It brings all of the goodness that you want into your business when you've got this calm confidence. So the mindset is not just, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and by golly, we're going to do this. It's not just, the Stuart Smiley. Is it Stuart Smiley? I think it is. Stuart Smalley, yes. It's not just the Stuart Smalley. It is you having this calm confidence. You know you're going to be successful. Even though there are times where you fall down, you fall short, there's all kinds of evidence in your face that says this is not success. So what you want to do is recognize the trajectory of where you're going, not the position of what just happened. If you want to just get stuck in the position of what just happened, your mindset is going to be limited instead of recognizing what you're building, what you're creating, the trajectory that you're on. And that is why we cultivate a mindset, to build to the future, to create what you're after, to achieve the goals that you want. Even though we're going to fall short at times, of course, that's part of the deal. We get that. And actually, the falling short is the fuel for success. And that's this last part of the mindset that I want to talk about. We talked about the tactics. We've talked about the emotional capital. Well, the disciplined optimism is that we actually look at our shortcomings, our shortfalls, and we recognize that's the raw material we need. in order to be successful. So we appreciate that feedback. We actually embrace those failures, quote unquote. We turn them around as quickly as possible. We learn from them, we grow. And there's all of the cliches in the world out there to talk about turning failure into success, taking lemons and turning them into lemonade. But what it really comes down to is actually just reframing the way we think about it. No failure is permanent. It's just stuff that's happening that helps us as entrepreneurs get better. And when things don't work out the way we wanted, that's just feedback for us to go, oh, okay, we need to make some adjustments. We need to do things differently. So disciplined optimism comes from a principle called the Stockdale paradox that Jim Collins taught. In Good to Great, he talks about the Stockdale paradox, and he's teaching it's not just about our mind, it's actually how we then use that to fuel ourselves. So when something doesn't go the way we want, we can turn it around in our mind, and that's useful, but we also need to say, let's take that and use it to get better. And so the Stockdale paradox is that Admiral James Stockdale was a prisoner of war in the Vietnam War. He was trying to deal with the challenge of being a prisoner for so long, and he and his prison mates were all feeling the desire to get out, of course, but some were putting artificial timelines and saying, oh, by Christmas we'll be out of here, or by Mother's Day we'll be out of here, or by Thanksgiving. And those dates would come and go, and folks would die of a broken heart. But James looked at it, Admiral Stockdale looked at it differently. He said, hey, I accept we are where we are. It is brutal, but here's the key. He said, I'm going to use this experience as the defining experience of my life. No matter how long it takes, no matter what, I'm going to use it to actually become great. And he did. And he made it through his prisoner of war experience. He actually became an extraordinarily successful businessman. He ended up being vice president of the United States candidate, and had an amazing experience in life that he built off of from that trial, that challenge that he was in as a prisoner of war. So what does that mean for disciplined optimism and for us as entrepreneurs? It means that when things don't go the way we want, not only do we work on our mindset to be positive about it and see the good, but we actually use that frustration, whatever that incident was, to say, this is how I'm going to get better. This is how this is going to help me achieve our goals. All the while, we maintain an undying belief in our success. James Stockdale knew he would get out. He didn't know when, he didn't know how long it would be, but he knew he would get out and be successful. And in your business, you must know, this brings us right back to the beginning of mindset, you must know that you will be successful. And when things don't go well, we use that, we adjust how we think about it and look at it in a positive way, and we use it to get better. As Ryan Holiday says, the obstacle is the way. And that's the idea here. We want to use whatever comes at us as fuel to improve, whether that's good feedback that we're excited to get or good feedback that we're not so excited to get. It's feedback, and it helps us to get better. And that's what disciplined optimism is all about. Now, as you go about doing this, you want to have the independence of entrepreneurship. You want to not get too arrogant and not get too ignorant, but in the middle is the place of calm confidence. And that's what we're after in our mindset of success. Practice these things to cultivate it. Focus on your emotion and your emotional capital, how you actually use disciplined optimism to achieve the ultimate success that you want in your business. Don't get too cocky, don't get too arrogant, nor ignorant. Find that balance in the middle of calm confidence. That's what we're after. And that is the mindset of success.